Welcome to this video. Let's talk about some additional TypeScript information for you. So we stopped at creating arrays, and this here is how you can create a method. So just as in C#, you again have that name of a method. You have a parameter written in TypeScript syntax. So you get the name of the parameter, the colon, and the type. And then you have the type or the return type of that method. Again, the colon, which is void. So in C# that would be void log string text, right? So void log and then parameter string text. And here in TypeScript we got log, text of type string as parameter, return type of that method is void. So from an architecture side it's exactly the same, but from a written side we changed the syntax and the keywords just a little bit. You can easily define variables in method bodies, just as in C#. So here we have a variable var message of type string, and the value is message, and it includes the parameter right here. So it uses the parameter. TypeScript again is capable about seeing that this variable here is a string because we are assigning a string right here. So we can shorten it up and remove the type definition. So var message is equals to message and the parameter text. So this is exactly how you can also write it down in C# code. Now if you want to call a method, you can go ahead and do that just like this, console.log message. This would for sure print out a message into the console, but just as in C# you call the class and then you call that method and then you paste in some parameters to provide the method some information. Methods are public in TypeScript by default, that's important. So private methods should be marked explicitly using the private access modifier. So as we got that here, private log, right? So if we just say it like this, log, then it's public by default. And if we want to make that private, we do this by using private keyword access modifier. Like fields and variables, you can omit method return types when they are inferable from what the method returns. So here we got the private log method, and we can remove the return type void here. Here, for example, we got the sum method, and the parameters are of type number, A and B, right? And we can remove the return type of that method because we are definitely returning a number here because we are using A and B. So if we use A and B and they are both of type number, then we will here return a number 2. So it's inferable and we don't have to define the return type right here. Now you can see that this keyword right here, and it's mandatory before fields and methods in TypeScript when you want to access them from within a class, right? You know that from C#. Let's just assume you are creating an instance of that app component here, right? So you have a class in C# called car, and when you create a new car using the new keyword, then you have an instance, right? That's because C# is an object-oriented programming language, and such as is now also TypeScript, well, sort of. So, and if we create an instance of that app component and we want to call something on that instance or change a field or something like that, we have to talk to exactly that instance, and we can do that by using this. So if we create an instance of app component and we want to call inside of that class a method, then we go ahead and call this instance.log, right? So this is always referencing that one instance that we are talking to. I mean, that's pretty basic computer science knowledge when it comes to object-oriented programming. So just keep in mind, you can create instances of classes, for example, and if you want to do something within this class, you will have to use this keyword. Alright, let's move on. So here you can see that we can omit semicolons as long as you write different comments in different lines. So we don't have a semicolon right here because we are writing 2 comments in 2 lines. If we would go ahead and write this.log B right behind this log A, then we would have to use a semicolon for sure. But that's how it's also working in other programming languages. So as long as you write a comment in each line, you don't have to use semicolons at the end of your comment. Now TypeScript has some primitive types built in, which are number, string, and boolean. This is just like number, like float, integer, string, you know that from C#, and boolean is the bool from C#, right? You can also define variables of the type of classes. So here we got a variable with the name app of type app component, and it's a new app component, right? So exactly how you would write it down in C#. Well, you would not use that column, but that's not really important. But you can here see that we create a new instance of app component by using the new keyword. And here we got that nice constructor called, which will get called when the instance is created or during the instantiation process. Let's move on. This is how you can define arrays. So you get a variable with the name A. It's a array of type number, array of type string, array of type boolean, and even an array of our custom type, for example, app component, which we could have just created. Okay, so now those are the basics of TypeScript. In the next video, we will just make a very short extension to that and talk about so-called decorators, which we can use in TypeScript, and Angular makes use of it a lot. So it's very important that we talk about that, because that's also something that you won't find in C#. So this is something for a separate video. See you there.